Join the Wide Whale team May 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern for part 2 of our 3-part virtual event series, Voice of the Resident. For part 2, we will look specifically at residency. Using AI topic analysis, we've analyzed the free text of 400,000 Google reviews from residents of hundreds of top multifamily groups, including the NMHC Top 50, to identify how often 50 key topics are mentioned by residents. By filtering for and analyzing the topics by life cycle stage, we can isolate which topics are more influential during residency, versus tour, or renewal. Go to widewhale.com/data to sign up or find it in the revised community. That's widewhale.com/data.
Welcome to Thriving in Multifamily, a visionary podcast brought to you by the Multifamily Media Network. Join in as we explore motivation, inspiration, and engage in thought-provoking conversations. We provide actionable ideas to help you establish a solid foundation to achieve your career goals. I am your host, Lissi Daniels, and I'm excited to bring you inspiring stories that will empower you to reach your full potential. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Thriving in Multifamily, a visionary podcast where we navigate, inspire, and empower people in the multifamily industry to achieve their career goals. I am your host, Lissi Daniels, and I am excited to have my guest, Megan Russell, who is going to share her insights, her inspiration, and motivation. Her passion for training is amazing. I'm so excited to hear about her career goals, her journey, her path, everything that we can tap into on this episode of The Path Isn't Always Up. I would like to welcome Megan Russell, but before I do, I want to kind of give you a little highlight of her. Her passion for training and growth it's just amazing within her experience within the industry. She has her certifications in NALP, CAM, and her goals in life and her trajectory of what she likes to do is to continue to motivate and inspire on-site teams and bring strategies to help empower them, but inspire them for their growth as well. And also to navigate what that journey looks like, because it's not always one way up. So please help me welcome my special guest, Megan Russell. Hi, Megan.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much, Lissi.
Yes. I am excited to be able, I always say it's full circle to connect with individuals and people and just really know their stories. And, when someone connected with me about your story, I was like, Megan, you have to come on to this show because that's what this podcast is all about, is really just highlighting your career journey. So with that, tell me a little bit about your story, share it to the world, and we'll kind of go in.
Yeah, so, I want to start off by saying that property management is addicting, right? Once you're in, you're in, okay?
Yeah.
You try to get out, we're going to reel you back in. I started about 11 years ago. I was working as a community assistant at a student property, and I was just working to get free rent, 13 hours a week, free rent. I didn't have to worry about bills. And I was in college, and eventually it just kind of got to be a little much, and I thought, well, this is kind of fun. Maybe I can go part-time at school. So I did. And then I got a new manager named Willow, and she promoted me to the full-time leasing agent. And then I thought, well, this is really fun. I'm just going to keep going. And so I did. I became the leasing manager, and then I was offered a position at a conventional property as a leasing consultant, and eventually moved up into an assistant role. And, everything just kind of happened so quickly. But every time I found that my baseline and the foundation of why I like this job and this industry so much is because I always had great teachers. I always had people, really instilling their knowledge and empowering me to grow in whatever direction I wanted, whether that meant, moving up into different roles or helping with training. And somehow I made my way from 13 hours a week to pay rent all the way to the vendor side 11 years later. here I am.
Absolutely love that. It just goes to show you there's no one way, right? I think we all have a way that our career goals go from one point to the next, like, starting in leasing and then going into management. And then it's like, I'm going to pivot. I'm going to pivot into training or marketing or going onto the asset management side. Whatever that is, that pivot always kind of succeeds, that nobody fits in one box, right? And so with that, so with that, can you share a pivotal moment in your career that was a significant influence to you to make those changes to where you're at right now?
Oh, yeah, that one's easy for me. COVID. When the pandemic happened, our industry was shocked. We have always
Mm-hmm.
been an industry of in person, building relationships, making people feel valued, and in us being trustworthy people to find them new homes. And all of a sudden, we couldn't, right?
Yeah.
Our doors were closed. And I was actually pregnant right at the peak of
Oh,
COVID
wow.
when we had no clue what this virus was.
Yeah.
And my OB at the time said, "Hey, is your job doable from home?" And I said,
Mm-hmm.
"I don't know. I can probably do it." I was an assistant manager at the time. So,
Mm-hmm.
we weren't going into people's units to hang notices, anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to my ownership group and said, "Hey, this is what's going on. My OB really needs me to work from home. She doesn't trust, strangers." Um, and for lack of better term, there's too many people that try to come in and out.
Yeah.
So I was approved to work from home. And that is my pivotal moment because at that moment, I really saw how much we can do outside of the office and what improvements could really be made to make the same impact. But when I
Mm-hmm.
got back, I realized, yikes, so much has changed in the way
Yeah.
we operated.
Mm-hmm.
COVID just, it was.
COVID did everything.
So when I came back, I thought, this isn't what I want to do. I don't want to hang notices forever, but I knew I didn't want to be a manager.
Yeah.
And, I had tried that a couple times. It just wasn't for me. And
Mm-hmm.
so I asked to be in marketing, and we were a really small company. So they allowed me to be the marketing specialist for our portfolio, which was really cool.
Oh, wow.
And that really just launched me into the path that I decided to take: marketing, training, development. So thanks, COVID, for that.
Thank you, COVID. I tell you, I think it changed the outlook on everyone, right? And
Absolutely.
it made us really think outside the box, but define new
Mhm.
things, right? What is our everyday life going to look like, and what are we going to do differently, from working from remote to changing our thoughts on what we really want in life and what we want to kind of grow in. And I love that you kind of tapped into some of your passions, right? As far as marketing and training and knowing that. And I think that's so interesting because you hit it right on the nail. I remember when I was going through the steps of my career growth and thinking, I don't want to be like a regional manager or area manager. I really want, I'm so creative. I want to be out there and training. And so,
Yeah.
and then I pivot that way. So it's really interesting to, always know that there's other ways, and people thinking that is just one linear way, and it's not, and growth.
Yeah.
So who continues to inspire and motivate you through that?
Oh gosh, I think everyone will agree with this who's ever met her, Willow Walker.
Ah, I agree. I give you two thumbs up.
Willow has, we briefly chatted, but she has truly impacted my entire professional career and honestly my personal career. You just meet those people sometimes who will take you from where you are and develop you far further than what you could have ever expected. And it's really important to have those types of, let's say, mentors and friends around you.
I agree with you, and you hit it right on nail. She's an amazing mentor and coach. And for anyone who can have a mentor, how would you go about letting someone know that? Like, would you be that person and be like, "Hey, I need you as a mentor because I've been following you and I see everything that you're doing," or you see everyone doing things and you're like, "Ah, that's so inspiring to me. How can I be like that?" What is your ways, or telling someone about getting out there and navigating that?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, if you want a mentor or you see someone that you would like to be your mentor, go for it. You never know who you're going to work for, work
Yeah.
with, be referred to someone, and taking advantage of those opportunities is huge. I mean,
Hmm.
I remember working on site and being new and just not knowing what I was doing. And there just wasn't really one go to person. And I
Hmm.
wanted to be that person at some point for someone else. So just ask, you're probably going to make that person's day. Tell them, I've noticed how great you are, and I want to be as great or better than you. Help me.
I love that.
Please.
Just ask. Pick me. I'm good. I love how you said that, Megan, because it goes back to sales. Just ask. Get out there and take that first step and step out of
Yes.
that comfort zone, right? Do you believe that,
Come
or have you
on.
felt? Yeah, exactly. Have you ever felt like when you're growing in your purpose or your career goals that you had to overcome any challenges? And how did you overcome that? How can you help someone like say, okay, this is what you can do?
100%. I can fully attest to my biggest weakness is that I
Mhm.
can be a little bit matter of fact. And uh, that is the biggest reason why I don't believe I really loved being a property manager. And that
Mm.
was a challenge for me because when I first came in the industry, it was like, you're here as a leasing person, your next step is assistant and then manager and then regional and then wherever you go. And
Mhm.
I just thought, well, if being a manager is my only way to get into a different role, I don't know that I can.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Yeah.
when I was, in that manager role, I really struggled with the balance between um, let's say legal, right, fair housing,
Mhm.
and the uh, ethics and the
Mm.
needing to be more compassionate than maybe we want to because we're so afraid of fair housing.
Mhm.
And I said, this is just, it's not me. It's a little bit too challenging. Um, I want to go back to what I really, really loved and valued. And I was able to really come to peace with that.
Ah.
And in that, I was able to find exactly what I did love. I loved being an assistant manager. It was black and white. So because my job was black and white, I got to have fun in other places, right? I got to
Mhm.
talk to people about their renewals and sell our property again and help leasing agents when they needed to take a day off and I was
Yeah.
there to work for them. So in the challenge, I found opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think things like that are so powerful for us.
Mhm. Yes. That's so inspiring. That's so inspiring to hear. And it can
Thank
help
you.
someone else out there because at the end of the day, I think you have to be true to what you want, right? And really recognizing
Yes.
that and
Mhm.
understanding that and breaking it apart, but not having no fear of knowing like, okay, this is what is good. This is my strengths. This is what I really love. This is what I want to aim for and be very successful within that. And you tapped on
Yeah.
a lot of good points when it came to just leadership, right? You had as far as working for your team, being there for your team, helping your team, guiding, all of that encompasses leader. But, I'm always a firm believer. Everybody's a leader. We lead in so many different ways. And at the end of the day, what do you believe makes a good leader? Like in your heart of hearts, like what do you say makes a good leader?
I read a quote once. I want to say it was Tina Fey, maybe, that being a good leader sometimes means hiring people who might be better than you and
Mm.
stepping aside and letting them do their job that they were hired to do. And I think it's so powerful, right? I mean, being
Yes.
a leader doesn't mean I'm up here, I'm your boss, you listen to me.
Yeah.
It's how can I help you get to where you
Yes. I love that. And it's so true. A leader's about influence, right? It's about
absolutely.
empowering you to be the best that you can be. And you hit that. And I love that quote. That's like one of those aha type of moments where you're like, and I probably could talk for days on leadership, but I just feel like it's important. But even as a team member, we should always
Yeah.
see what is our expectations. What do we look for? What do we want as in a leader? Because out there, it works both, right? And providing that camaraderie within the team to be successful and helping your career goals at the same time. So how do you keep your work-life balance? I think sometimes it's kind of hard when you're always everyday focused with your work family, but also taking the time for you.
Yeah, so Grace Hill has been a huge component in that. I am currently the customer success associate, and that basically means that I support our, I want to say it's a team of 12 customer success managers. And in this role, I am truly able to step away from work.
Mm,
It's mostly because of the work, but I'm also going to say it's because of our leadership. They really do
mm,
value all of our organization putting mental health first, taking the
mhm,
break, signing off when we should.
mhm.
I'm very fortunate to work for supervisors who deliver the same message that our CEO does. But, it can be challenging, right? When we
Yeah.
have quotas to meet, or it's the end of the year and we haven't met our goal, and you kind of want to really stress that, and you want to
Yes.
work. If we started on site, we know how that feels when our owners are asking what's going on.
Yeah.
So
I
you got to take a step away.
You do. And I think, that, even in the highs and the lows, it's always about having that support and being there and letting your team know, I'm in it with you. Okay. So we have to work towards this. How are we going to do this? How can I help you? How can we get there? How can we plan that out? And I think, it does start with
Right.
your leadership, and it starts with how they communicate with you. So applaud to you that you have that, because, a lot of people out there are searching for that and they're looking for that. And at the end of the day, you can inspire someone else, like, you know what, these are the things that you to look at, but also to see. So I think that's great. This is such a great conversation. I mean, telling you, I'm like, love the green that she has on. I tell you, green is such a fab color. And I always like to, mix things up. But what's a fun fact about you, Megan? What's something fun that you would tell the world? I know I say the world.
Join the Wide Whale team May 29th at 3 p.m. Eastern for part 2 of our 3-part virtual event series, Voice of the Resident. For part 2, we will look specifically at residency. Using AI topic analysis, we've analyzed the free text of 400,000 Google reviews from residents of hundreds of top multifamily groups, including the NMHC Top 50, to identify how often 50 key topics are mentioned by residents. By filtering for and analyzing the topics by life cycle stage, we can isolate which topics are more influential during residency, versus tour, or renewal. Go to widewhale.com/data to sign up or find it in the revised community. That's widewhale.com/data.
So my fun fact is not just about me, but I love to tell the story. I won't tell the whole story, but um, my fun fact is that I met my husband on the side of the road,
Okay.
literally
Hold up. That
side
could
of
go
the
in so
road.
many different directions. Wait, well, hopefully it's safe. Obviously, how many years have you been
So,
married?
so I've been married for, oh gosh, my husband would kill me if I didn't give the right answer. We have been married for 9 years this year.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
I was coming home to my apartment, my little student apartment, and my windows are down, and I'm with my friend Selena, and he's walking home from, I guess, the gym that was in the other parking lot. And she says, "Hey, were those boys cute? We should invite them to your total strangers. Here we are, hundreds of
Oh,
years
gosh.
old." And so I said, "Okay, fine." I rolled down the window and basically said, "Do you want to come to my party?" He did. And a week later, we didn't spend a night apart for about 4 months, and it was all over
Wow.
from there.
Ah, when you know, right?
Absolutely. And he's been in the trenches with me with property management
Oh,
on that same student property. He's actually with RPM now. He was in retail for about 13 years, and he
wow.
didn't like the schedule. And he said, my values have changed. It's not about the money for me anymore.
Mm.
So he came over to the dark side, and he's addicted. He's addicted.
Why do we always say it's the dark side? Come on over to the dark side.
In the
Uh, uh,
beginning, I
and
think it might happy, and then it gets fun.
It does. It does. It's like one of those things. Like once you step out, you always come back. It never fails.
Yeah.
That's just our industry. It's amazing because you can make powerful connections. You meet great people. You can network. You can grow. You can build off on that. And
Yes.
I think that's just as important with anyone that wants to tap into our industry.
Yeah.
As well. That's going to be a story for the books for your to tell. And thank you for sharing that fun fact. I actually love that. I took a twist. So, Megan, with that, how do you like balance your personal aspirations and on your professional and personal, goals in life?
Yeah. So personally, my goal is just to be happy and raise happy kids. I've got two adventurous, wild little boys, and all I want is for them to look back at their childhood and remember that mom and dad and their family were all very happy, well mannered people.
Mm,
And because of that, in my career, I have always strived to be happy. I
yeah.
don't want to stay somewhere that, I come home and I have to decompress to my husband
Mhm.
or take it out on my kids. And that's truly why I feel like the path isn't always up, right? I didn't want the stresses and the certain positions I was in. So
Mhm.
I put myself and my family first in
Ah,
all of those.
okay, you're winning my heart over here. World, if you don't love Megan Russell now, you will love her now. Because it's true. I love that you put family first, right? And at the
Yes,
end of the day, and your happiness is defined in so many different directions. And I think happiness and success is it goes hand in hand, but you don't have to be
absolutely.
successful in a certain level of advancement, certain level of monetary, or, it could be just family. It could just be the people that you go home to every single day and you're just happy to be there. And I think that's success in itself as well too. I think that journey, I've learned that, stepping out on my own too as a speaker and walking and doing this, that my happiness was more for this and being able to bring positive stories and impacts to the world because people need to hear that, right? And so that you're such a great inspiration for that. And I love that. Did you always know this was your purpose in life? Like when you started, like, when you go to school and you start writing out your goals, it's like, this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to work. And probably not, because anybody that's in our industry just literally falls into it.
I think half of the people in this industry were like shoe salespeople or a waitress or, something of that nature. But no, I had no clue. When I was, I guess, in eighth grade or so, I thought I wanted to be an attorney.
Oh,
I went to, yeah, I went to a high school that it's called Townview. Well, it's the Law Magnet at Townview Center. And I had my freshman year there. And I quickly realized I didn't want to be an attorney.
yeah.
I couldn't have done it. And so I begged my parents, please take me out of this school that I worked really hard to get into, and put me in public school because I want to do other things. And so they did, thankfully. And at some point in there, I decided maybe I want to be a teacher. And then I decided, never mind. I want to do something quick. I want to do hair. So I went to beauty school.
Oh, wow.
And I worked at a salon for about 4 or 5 months, and I was like, I want to move to a new city. I had no clue what I was going to do. I had zero clue what I was going to get myself into. But I just went for it because what we value most is our own happiness, right? We have to make sure
Mm-hmm.
we're happy and confident and comfortable before we can think about the people around us. We really
Yeah.
should.
Yeah.
And then I moved and I found myself a little student apartment, enrolled in the community college, met my husband, met Willow, and I would have never thought that I'd be here working for the training company of property management, right? Grace Hill. I mean, I remember logging in to do my training and being like, oh, I have Grace Hill to do. I don't want to do that. Right.
I'm
And I know
sorry.
everyone else is like, yep, that's matter of fact. I have overdue courses. Um, but I never would have thought it, Lissi. I really wouldn't have.
Yeah. It's so funny how you look back and you look today, you're like, wow, well, I didn't think I was going to be here, but I'm here and I love it, right? And it's so funny that you said, oh, let me check. I got past due. And you're like, no, I don't need that. It's pending. So, yeah, that is
Yeah.
definitely true facts on that end. But what's the one thing you love the most about what you do?
Oh, the most. In my current position, I like that it can be task oriented
Hmm.
because I am very task oriented. I love checking things off my list. I love being able to help with projects and say, look what I did,
Yeah.
and seeing that return on all the work that I put into it and checking that box. And in the middle of that, I get to talk to some really cool coworkers, and every now and then I get to talk with clients, which is
Yeah.
always fun. And I'm starting to get out a little bit more. As you know, I spoke at a LumaCore training, and
Oh,
that was so
yeah.
fun. That
Let's
was
tap
so
into
fun.
that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That was super exciting. So, like I said, in my role, I'm super administrative. I
Mhm.
support a team of 12. I'm doing, different asks. And one of our customer success managers, Shannon, said, or she was on the call with Luma, and they were talking about a leasing meeting. And I don't normally meet with clients, but I was like, man, these are my people. I want to go, even if it's just to listen, and
Yeah.
contribute to Shannon's presentation. And she said, you know what? You're not only going to go, I'm going to let you speak. And I thought, let me. I haven't asked. And I'm so grateful that I got to go with her because there was this group of leasing, we'll call them consultants because I'm not sure of their titles. Um, but they were people who had just started. There were people who had come from different organizations.
Mhm.
Some of them had stepped down, all different classes of properties. And I was able to talk through what I'm passionate about in training and how that affected not just my career, but
Yeah.
how it will follow them through their entire career, and how fortunate they are to work for an organization who really invest in their foundation and training and
Mhm.
setting them up for a great future. That was
Wow.
so exciting for me.
Oh, I can imagine the smiles on their faces because I think people don't realize our stories inspire other people, right? They
Yeah.
look at it as you're putting back that fruit into there, right? That those aha moments, those light bulbs, those motivation of why you do what you do, but the importance of what they do with what they do, right? They are the main people, the first impression. I love leasing, I love sales,
Yeah.
starting back in. That's how I started way long time ago. We ain't gonna talk about how long. But at the end of the day, you got to step in and do something that probably that was not your normal routine, but you got the itch, right? You got that feeling of it,
Yes.
and it makes you feel good. I always feel like when you can plant those seeds into other individuals and to people and give them that life of smiles, it's so amazing. And so I hope to see more of you out there, right? And doing that.
Yes. And that's so funny because all this time I've had all this in me, right? And in my role, because I don't get to do those things, even my own colleagues were like, Megan does that? Megan's passionate about that? Is this really Megan Russell? Are you sure? And I actually was just recommended to speak somewhere else at another client's meeting. And I thought, "Oh, that is so, uh, I just didn't even like, even now I'm lost for words. Like the thought that
Yeah.
someone wanted me to go was huge. And you just never know what's going on with someone, even
Mhm.
outside of work, and how important it is to make those connections.
Ah, yes, very much. Oh, I love that. The power of connections is so important. But just to
Yes.
see the gratitude within you and how you feel, it's another amazing feeling at the end of the day. So I definitely want
Yes.
I wish you all the best on that as well. Man, we were having a great conversation. I'm telling you, I just forgot my coffee, Megan, or my soda to continue this conversation and chat through. But I definitely have loved just hearing your insights, hearing, your goals, your aspirations, the importance of your family, and just being who you are and understanding, like, this is what I like, this is what I want, this is what I want to grow, and this is what I'm being, at the same time. So I do got to ask real quick, before we end is, well, I have a couple of things. It's never ending with me. But what are how do you stay on top of trends and insights and things within our industry? Like, it's, within networking, how do you do that or help someone do that?
I am very lucky to work for Grace Hill, because when it comes to trends, we're on it. We have a trend social media queen, Stephanie Anderson. She is always in there. She is in the know. So I personally follow our own social media pages because
Yeah.
where it's at. And then, being involved in your local apartment association is really important, or following them on social media, signing up for newsletters. Even if you're just reading the title, it's going to come up at some point. You're going to be asked a question and you're going to go, "Ooh, let me go read that article that I may have moved to a different folder in my email."
Yes,
Right?
yes. No, that you hit it all right on the nail. Social media is a powerful place, but it's also really great when
Yes.
it comes to staying on top of changes, trends in the industry, new things, stay on top of that.
Mhm.
And I always say, anybody young in the professional, and especially with the leasing professionals, get those LinkedIn accounts, right? Get those to where you
Yes.
can start really building that network. I had a friend that was just now got her LinkedIn account. I'm like, yeah, about time. Because at the end of the day, I want them to start that networking. It's so important, versus just your Facebook and your IG accounts and,
Yes.
Twitter. I'm not even on Twitter, but LinkedIn
Yeah.
far most, because it is, as I would think, more of that networking with business and see
Yeah.
what, people are up to and reading. So I definitely love that you said that. And networking in your local associations are very important. That's how a lot of individuals get started within their
Yeah.
training. That's a lot of people who get to meet other people and connect
Yes.
with individuals. I feel like, Megan, I've known you for years, within this conversation and just, talking to you, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And I want you to have an
Thank you.
opportunity of giving your last thoughts. Like, what would you encourage anyone out there if you were speaking to someone one-on-one? What would you say to them?
Find your passion and go get it. If you don't want to move straight up into the roles that are set before you, you take the part of your job that makes you happy and you run with it, and you find someone or somewhere that will help you get exactly what you want, and you will never work a day in your life.
I love that. And there you have it, everyone out there. Thank you so much for tuning in to Thriving in Multifamily, a visionary podcast. I am your host, Lissi Daniels, with our special guest, Megan Russell. And as always, this episode was brought to you by Multifamily Media Network. Stay visionary, people, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye now. Thank you for tuning in to Thriving in Multifamily, a visionary podcast. I hope our conversations have inspired you to act and achieve your career goals. Remember, the key to success is to continue learning and growing. And as always, stay visionary. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, comment, and subscribe. Visit multifamilymedianetwork.com to learn more about our industry podcasts, thought pieces, and sponsorship opportunities.